Good morning, good morning, good morning. Welcome to Coffee with T, and I'm T. Good morning. We are here because you guys know that on Mondays I have my series Men Hurt Too, where I have an excellent Black man on who speaks from his truth. And I'm excited today about my brother friend who's on today. And I do this, and I've been doing this, and I started in March during Women's History Month. And I did it because I wanted women to get a better look at Black men and how they feel from a male perspective. So I wanted to gift them. But so many brothers came forward to share, and they say, I saw your interview. I like to be a part of it. I like to, share my story a little bit. And it's just gone on. So I'm not going to stop until the Lord tells me to stop, because we need to hear from these men. And in light of what's going on right now, I just want people to know Black men are being attacked from all angles, not just white people, racists, family curses. We're breaking that right now. So we're not new to this. We true to this. We've been having these issues, and this is why I started the platform, the series, Men Hurt Too, so people understand that Black men are human beings first. So I'm gonna get right to this. I was gonna read my guest bio, but I know him and I love him, and I don't even think that I need to read his bio. So I'm gonna just let him come in and introduce himself. And as he introduces himself, I would like him to then go and explain and share with us how he grew up and tell us a little bit about his mother and father, because I always want to know where my brothers have come from. And it's important for us as people to know their foundation, how they grew up. And it gives us light on us stop judging them so harshly, because there's a blueprint that we all have. So June Archer is in the building, and if you don't know June, you should really look him up. He is a wealth of knowledge. I've known this man for a long time, and it's one thing about you before you go into that. We both come from the music business.
Yes.
I've met some brothers in the music business, and people always think bad about the music business. I met you, D Moet, Do It All, and y'all been my brothers from another mother. Like, never know try to push up on me, never know craziness, just always Trey, you good? Let me walk you to your car, make sure you okay, sis. So I respect that so much, and I want women to know and men to know and people to know that these brothers out here make sure the sisters is okay. So I'm gonna let you go right now. Introduce yourself and then tell us a little bit about how you grew up.
But I want to just say thank you so much for allowing me to share this platform with you. And yes, we do exist. These men do exist. Chivalry is not dead. Being a great friend and a brother is not dead. So I want to thank you so much for giving us that love and sharing that perspective. For those who don't know me, I am June Archer, recording artist turned executive, now author, motivational speaker, television executive, and entrepreneur. I am born in Hartford, Connecticut, raised in Windsor, Connecticut, pretty much all my life. My family are immigrants from the West Indies, specifically from Jamaica. So for me, my cultural Black background was growing up West Indian in that culture, Jamaican culture, but also understanding Black American culture, because I'm a born Jamaican. So for me, it was navigating having a family from Jamaica, being an African American, a Black American, and trying to, because we grew up in the suburbs, trying to figure out how to navigate going to a public school system where we were probably less than 10% of the population.
Wow.
So a lot of the conversations that we're going to have, and I'm going to have moving forward, especially this week, is going to be talking about navigating that, talking about the right and the wrongs, and just being a man of color in America, being able to navigate that. And there've been so many, from Tanashi to the list goes on, who've been able to navigate. But now, I hate to quote this. Actually, I can't say I hate to quote this, but ironically, what Malcolm X said many years ago now is true. The chicken has come home to roost.
Yes.
And we have to address these things on both sides, because I believe that there is accountability on both ends, but there's education that needs to be done
right
on both ends. So I thank you for sharing this platform. You're doing some amazing things. You know I love you.
Love you too.
And your accountability for yourself and others is golden. So thank you so much. I know Do It All appreciates it, Demo, and so many other men who share this relationship with you, and we appreciate you. So let's dive in, man. We got a lot to talk about.
So I asked June Archer to come on here because I appreciate his life, right? He's a father, a husband, a businessman, and I see him maintain a certain amount of balance. And in society, a lot of people think that Black men can't maintain balance and don't have longevity in jobs, in marriages, in family. Like they just fall off. So I wanted to talk about that. We're going to talk about that a little bit, but I think we're going to go off topic today because of what's going on. Because when we scheduled this interview, none of this was happening.
Right.
I do want to talk about that a little bit just to give a clear aspect of how they try to tarnish us when we're dead and it's not our fault. Because I want people to understand that Black men are wonderful. There's good in every Black man, and everybody has their own issues. But you don't get to say a person laying on the ground, we're going to pick this person apart because he a Black man, and we're going to find out what issues he had. No, we're going to talk about the fact that he dead because some police officers killed him. Regardless, if he was a jailbird, if he was an axeman, whatever he was, you had no right to do that to him. So let's talk a little bit about balance in your life, because I love you, because you sent me a text, an inbox one day on Instagram, a direct message. That's what they call, I'm old, so I said an inbox, a direct message. And you sent me a event that your wife was having, and you said, can you come to the event? And I said, I'm gonna be out of town. And you said, can you just support and share this, because I'm just supporting my wife. Yo, I was jumping up and down for that. I'm telling you, because that you don't understand how much that means to not only me as a Black woman, but for your wife, that my husband is inboxing women for the right reason. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm
right.
Like, okay. So,
I'm jumping in the DM for a different perspective.
Right, and people don't talk about that. So tell me, how do you balance your family and in the music business? Yes, people don't talk about the groupies, and I want to talk to the executive, June Archer, because I know he could do this and I could give him that. How do you keep yourself out of that mess, and how do you balance your family and your work life?
Trey, I think it starts from the top, right? So I like to share with people what I call the small print, right? The terms and conditions that we tend to forget about when we get into relationships, right? And if you're married, those terms and conditions, and that small print is, till death do us part, sickness and health, for better or worse, right? So when you have these conversations from the top, my wife, at that point, my girlfriend, was like, these are the things I expect. Here are the non-negotiables, right? And here are the things that I will allow you to do, and these are the things I would like for me to do. Like, allow me to do these things, and if we can do this, we can be able to succeed. It's not going to be easy. Marriage, relationships, they take work, but you get your non-negotiables. You get your, hey, this is at this point you could do it, but at this point, when it gets to this point, I need you to shut it back or pull it back. So we understood that from the get-go, and because fortunately we come from the same background and culture, our family from the West Indies, like there's certain things that we grew up, so it kind of clicked.
Wow. So
when you talk about balance, I knew that I saw men and women who didn't have that balance and how it affected them. I also looked at men and women who were thinking on their feet, right? But didn't make the right decisions. And I said, I don't want to be that. I don't want to do that. I see where that went. And I'm an observer. Like, I don't jump at everything. So I kind of wait. I kind of watch, because I've always been the younger guy. I've always been the little brother. So I'm watching your moves. I'm watching your mistake. And I realized, like, I don't want to be that dude. And we are human. And as accountability would have it, like, I've said things that were inappropriate, not meaning anything, but realized that, man, I let her down doing that. Like, I got to do better. Like, I didn't mean anything by you being funny. Sometimes I do it now and we do it, and it's like, she's like, you do realize that was inappropriate. It might have been funny, but that was inappropriate. And you should be able to take that that constructive criticism or feedback from your significant other or spouse. And you learn the boundaries sometimes. And at that point, I didn't really know the boundary because I didn't test it. And not that I was testing it because I was trying to see how far I could get. My wife is like a dude chick, right? So it's so much, but then there's a time where that dude chick is like, yo, chill. And she's always been the woman to say, you know what? I really don't care where you get your appetizer from, but make sure you eat your meal at home.
Right.
So like you're human. Like let's not sugarcoat this, Trey.
Right.
There are beautiful people in the world. Somebody's gonna catch your eye. Not that it's gonna be sexual.
Right.
Oh wow, like I didn't realize she had a big butt like that. That's great. Not that you would sexually look at it. You're like, it happened to be there. You look, or breast, or oh my God, look how built he is. Look at his muscles. Like, oh my, he's handsome. Right. So let's not fake the funk and act like something won't catch your eye. It is the behavior behind that initial piece that is the issue. Right. So if you're able to cut that off, and we are able to people watch, we love people watching. Yes, so we'll talk about men and women. Right. So, and once you're comfortable, I feel like men and women find themselves in a situation where they're not comfortable with their significant other being cool about certain things.
Right. Whoa.
So you feel like you can't share, but if you have that discussion early, if you know that person, you can say, Trey, yo, that dude is a handsome dude. Like, I like the way his suit fits on him, without Trey saying to you, like, you like men? Like, why are you looking at that dude so hard? Like, no, I'm not attracted to him. I loved his swag. Like, I never thought to put that kind of jacket with that pants or that hat. That's it. And the same thing on the other side. Because when women look at women, dudes don't ever say, oh, so you like that? You like her? Like, no, there's this intrigue. But on the other end, pride and ego would say, oh, I'm not going to comment on another dude because then my girl's going to. No, my whole point is having the relationship, understanding how both of you mesh together to properly function as a unit. So for me, I wanted to make sure that the balance was there because I seen what imbalance does with relationships. So and it's different levels, Trey. So when you're together, right, as boyfriend and girlfriend, it's a different level. Then when you get married, it's another level. So there are adjustments that you have to make because what was cool as a boyfriend or girlfriend, it's not really cool as a husband and a wife.
See?
Right. So then you graduate to the next level because now you're having a family, right? So now as a mother and a father, there's certain things that were cool as a couple that didn't have children that aren't. You just can't hang out when we got a responsibility to take care of this child. Yeah, cool. When we were parents that didn't have any kids, we could hang out 2, 3 o'clock in the morning, right? Actually, we could hang out late. But when we were boyfriend and girlfriend, you were hanging out till 2, 3 o'clock in the morning. You didn't have really accountability. We were dating. So I couldn't really hold you accountable to that. But when you get married, I'm not saying you can't hang out, but there's a level to it. There's a responsibility to be had when you're in a relationship that you are accountable for each other, but you're also responsible for being a part of that situation. And then when you graduate to having children, it's the same thing. But you're balancing work, life, parenthood, and don't forget marriage, right? Because that's what comes first. That was the first piece of it. So you have to have that balance. And we all fall short, right? Because then you have the static noise that comes in. Oh, you got to go get that bag. Trey, you got to get that. Trey, you know they have this artist showcase. Trey, there's this other Trey, you got to go to this other event. Trey, there's a Grammy party.
Right.
Right? So you're trying to get it because why? Trey, we've been trying to build our brands for years. We're here now, but no one ever sees or no one ever probably remembers when we used to be in the clubs and the showcases and the listening sessions.
Yes.
Right? And the parties, right? Because we were trying to build what people now see.
Right.
So in doing so, there's an imbalance. But as time goes on, you got to understand, yeah, I'm not going to go to that party tonight like that. Right? And if I do go, I need to get in and get out by 11 so I can get back home. Right. So there's a different mindset. So you got to adopt that mindset. But you guys have to talk about those boundaries and say, oh man, you know what? I didn't make it out a little late last night. How did you feel about that? Was that because I ended up having an extra conversation?
Right. See, that's it. Because people don't understand. And this is for some of the people who might be in the music industry coming up now and who are in relationships. that's not an easy spot to be in when your
No.
spouse is in the music business and you think that your spouse is really out enjoying parties and drinking. And it's really tough for women, but we talking about men right now because I want the women to understand. I've been in events with you, and we're not there for the party. And
Correct.
you have the wrong spouse or the wrong boyfriend, the wrong girlfriend, the wrong significant other. They won't understand when you come home at 3 o'clock in the morning because there was an extra conversation. And I used to have these conversations with my ex, and he couldn't quite grasp it. And one of the reasons was because I was a woman. But I needed what you just said to say, you know what? This is bothering him. Right? So 3 o'clock in the morning is unacceptable. If there's an extra conversation, you got to get their card, their number, and say, yo, you know, I got to go. Like, so a lot of people need to understand that behind the scenes, there are certain places that your husband, boyfriend, fiance has to be at. Because if you want a successful man, you're going to have a busy man. And if you want a successful man and he's in a certain industry, you're going to have a certain level of understanding and be able to communicate. And for the men, please just say there was an extra conversation that may happen ahead of time. Because I've been out and the extra conversation happened. And I'm like, oh no, we've been talking for 45 minutes. And I just told my man I was leaving.
Exactly. This thing will only be over like 10 o'clock. And then it's midnight. You're like, that it was that one last conversation. And it didn't happen inside the venue. It was outside as you were leaving. And it happens, right? So if we have those conversations straight, I think the navigating it is a lot easier.
Yes.
I believe.
Yes.
But understanding, if you want that man to be successful, you have to give him enough wiggle room to make moves, right? Because at one point, my wife kept saying, like, you're always on your phone. You're always on your phone. You stay on your phone. There you go, trying to make Facebook friends again. There you go on MySpace. Like, this was part of, when I say MySpace, and you know exactly the time period I'm talking about. But not realizing 10, 15 years later, she realizes I was trying to create a network. Right. I was trying to build the brand that now I'm not even on my phone as much. Because when I hit the button, now I'm tapping into what I've been tapping into for the past 15, 20 years. So it doesn't take that much longer. It doesn't take that long to be on, because if you've been building it properly, if you created the foundation, then it doesn't take long. So when Trey says she got something, boom, it's out of here.
Right.
Not, I got to friend this person, I got to go through, and no, it's easier now because you already put in the work. You started working on the 10,000 hours 10 years ago.
Right. It just so much was in that, so much richness, so many gems was in that. But even a man, even not in the music industry, but somebody who's an entrepreneur, who's trying to be an entrepreneur right now, start a business, we have to support each other because the money does not really come fast. And you don't make a profit in your business for years. And a lot of people don't understand. I have this conversation with women all the time who are trying to, build a brand, and men who say, because I'm not bringing a check home, my wife don't respect me. But it's not the check in the beginning, because just because your husband is not physically in school, because if he is physically in school, you'll be like, oh, okay, he's in school. So I know. But just because this is schooling when you're building a brand. So I just want the women to know that. So before we
I want to share this piece though, because women society allows us to get caught up. I don't want to point the finger or place the blame, because men are guilty of this as well when it's flip flop, when the women stay home, right? You have to understand that it may be not equal giving, if it's equal sacrifice sometimes, right? So even if you are the breadwinner, I've been in a situation where my wife is the breadwinner, right? But when she comes home, like, matter of fact, this morning, like, my wife, breakfast done, got her shake, lunch packed, she's ready to go, she's off to work. Now I'm homeschooling the kids, like, I'm an entrepreneur, so I'm home, right? So what are you doing when she comes home? Is it dinner on the table? I just did the laundry yesterday. Like, what are you doing while you're hustling? That's where balance and everything works. So if you're doing all of these things, and you bring in some income, you're taking care of some of the bills. You may not take care of all the bills, right? And I don't find it fair on the opposite end when if a woman wants to stay home and he has to pay all the bills. Now you're chilling, like you can't, and you're on IG and you're giving us the highlight reel, but you're not doing anything. You're pocketing all your money. You're not even investing in the relationship or the marriage or the union. Like, so, oh yeah, my man takes care of me. No, he takes care of everything, but there's no investment on your end. And whether it's flip flop, are you investing? Do you have some skin in the game?
Wow.
Right.
Wow.
So if there's equal, even if the wife is home, what is there food on the table? But you still got to respect her. If she's doing the laundry, you still got to respect her. She still has to say so because she's investing, right? Because you can't do it all yourself. If you are working all the time, you can't do it yourself. Let's not fool ourselves. Oh, well, I'm making 6 figures. Yeah, you make 6 figures, but you can't do it all yourself. If you're not home and you're trying to make the money, it doesn't work. So you got to figure out how to play your part. Even Dennis Rodman just played his part. He got the rebounds. That's it. Even if that's all he did, you got to thank him because he's the reason why you got the rings, Michael Jordan. Because if he didn't get the rebound and give you the ball, you don't win the championship. It's possible you don't win the championship. But that's what he does. If he just does that one thing, respect that.
Wow. Equal sacrifice.
It's equal. He may not put up 30 points straight.
Right.
I get it. He may not be Scotty. You already got Scotty. Scotty's in the position that he's supposed to play.
Right.
Right. So what part are you playing? Are you investing? Are you contributing? Right? When you look at sports, and I'm a sports guy, if the guy that hikes the ball to the quarterback doesn't hike it properly, you can't win. It doesn't matter. But he may not make all the money that the quarterback does because the quarterback is a star. But if he doesn't snap the ball properly, there's an issue.
Right.
Issue. Right? So he gets a Super Bowl ring too. Why? Because he contributed. He had some skin in the game. He had to sacrifice equally to do what he got to do. But he don't get paid the same as this guy. The guy who's throwing the ball and the guy who's catching it, they get making millions. The guy that's snapping it, he's barely making 6 figures. Probably making $300,000 a year. But guess what? If he doesn't do his job, the sum is only greater than the whole of his parts.
Oh, somebody that took us to church just now. I ain't with you.
I'm a chill. I'm a chill. I apologize.
Please don't chill. If you just tuned in, you tuned into hashtag Coffee with T, and this is Man Combo Monday for my series Men Hurt Too, and I'm here with Mr. June Archer, who is an entrepreneur, husband, father, and he has been in the game for a long time. His family's living a good life. He has longevity in his marriage, longevity in his career, and I just want people to understand before all of this stuff happened with George Floyd and Ahmaud, that I've been having this series so people can see that Black men hurt. Black men they hurt too. That Black men are purposeful. Black men can be in long-term marriages. Black men can be leaders in a household, and we're just not expendable based on what society says. So I wanted to bring men into the circle to share their wisdom and their knowledge. So I'm gonna shift a little bit off of our topic because I need to, because we were having a conversation in the back end, and I just want to add, how does it feel to be a Black man in America right now?
For me, I feel hurt in a way. I feel proud. I feel a sense of having to speak up.
Right.
And I have a sense of, you know what? We can get through this because for generations now, that's just what we do.
Right.
We get, so I know that there is strength there, but now we need to do exactly what our ancestors did for generations. We need to organize better. We need to stop destroying our stuff because we want to make a statement.
Right.
Right. We have to figure out how to have these conversations and create a platform where law enforcement understands the community and vice versa, because there's an accountability on both ends, Trey.
Right.
It is, and it's got to be an understanding. And I want to specifically talk about this $20 bill situation, because that's what it is boiled down to. This man lost his life over $20. Now, what has to happen is we have to get to the root of the problem, right? Because for every solution, for every problem, there's a solution. You can call the cops on someone because you feel like they were giving you a fake $20 bill. But here's the thing, Trey. I never tried to jerk anybody. I've been in a situation twice, because I had to think about it. Twice I've been in a situation where I got money from the ATM machine and went to a store to purchase something, and they told me that there was a counterfeit bill.
Right. Right.
Now, whether he did that purposely or not, I don't think the first step should have been, let me call the cop. It should have been, hey, this piece of paper that you're giving me, this $20 bill that you're giving me is not going through. It's counterfeit. Do you have another one?
Right.
Do you have something else that you could give me? Because this is, let me just show you that this bill is counterfeit. Oh, I didn't, bro, I just went to the ATM and just took it out.
Right.
Now you could go back to the bank and say, because you got the receipt, there's a timeline, right? There's a trail that, oh, I see you at the teller, because I had to do it. I'm at the teller. You can tell I was here. I took the money out. This is what I got from your teller.
Right.
Okay, sir, you know what? We'll take it. We'll give you, and we'll go ahead and investigate that. Right? But to make that phone call based on that, there's a way to try to combat the situation that this man didn't lose his money. Now, people try to hustle. That's just what it is.
Right.
And why do people hustle, Trey? Because people have been oppressed for years, and they're trying to find a way to come up.
Right.
Right? So when you choke my man out in Long Island, he's selling onesies and little cigarettes because he's trying to make a little extra money. Is it illegal? No, it's only illegal because you can't make any money off of it. So you feel like you got to call the cops on him because he's selling single cigarettes. No, let's figure out how to make sure that man, that black man, has a job that he can make enough money to take care of his family, because that's why he's doing the side hustle.
Right. And the thing about that too is, and I want you to talk about this, a black man should be able to make an error. A black man should be able to forget to put his blinker on, because sometimes we're in the car and the kids are doing something, or we get a phone call that says your mother just went to the hospital, or anything can happen, or you just simply forget to put your blinker on. We make mistakes.
We're human.
Right, we're human for whatever, and our black people are dying from mistakes, like a $20 counterfeit bill, even if it was counterfeit and he was phony and he made 20s in his basement. That's no reason to kill him. So you said we need to be accountable on both sides. So there's 4 officers.
Yes.
Right? And I want you to talk about this and give me your opinion about it, because I thought about this. And when I looked in on it, when they reported that the one officer was arrested and that the other two of them had been on the job less than 3 years. These are rookies. Where's the problem in that? Because there's a problem in that for me, because they were following a superior officer. Not that they get off, because moral compass should kick in to some degree of
exactly
killing this man. But when you have a superior, and you said you spoke to a state trooper friend of yours, you can mix that in here. When you have a superior officer who's been on a job 19 years and you've been on a job less than 3, what does that look like on the inside?
It's crazy, because you are led to believe that this person is going to show you, lead by example, to do the right thing, right? So, and you're fresh, you're a neo, so you're like, you know what? Let me just see how this person handles it, because I'm new to it. I've never even been in this situation. Right. So I don't even have a case study. Like this is real. Okay, so this is how you handle it. But the crazy thing is, we live in a world now that when they turn the camera angle, Trey, there were other officers that were holding him down. Right. So now we got to hold you accountable, because you fired this man, realizing there was more than one officer holding Mr. Floyd down.
Right.
So they have to be held accountable, as well as the ones who were onlookers. Like you stood there. The one cop stood there with his back turned towards everything, with his hands folded.
Right.
You turned a blind eye, because guess what, Trey? If you and I do it all in the car, and I steal something in the store and I get in, guess who's getting in trouble?
All of us.
Why? Because you were a part of the situation. You didn't say anything. You are an accomplice.
Right. So let's talk about the fact that I'm seeing conversations. The young man that I had on last week, Harry Brown, he's 25. and we talked about Ahmaud, and he talked about how it was to be a young Black man and the support that they need. So he posted a post, and one of his white friends was going back and forth. It was a very good conversation between a young Black man who has been stopped by the police with him and his brother because the brother had dreads in his hair, and they weren't good. The police officers turned around and came after them, and a young white man saying, "I'm trying to understand," because white people, and this is no disrespect to them, you don't understand. You don't understand because you've never experienced it. So we need to bridge that gap. So you say you were talking to your state trooper friend who's a white man.
Yes.
And they really can't, you can't understand. I'm gonna give this analogy. You can't understand how I feel because my mother is dead and your mother's alive. So you've never experienced that. So let's talk about your state trooper friend who you spoke to, and how do we bridge this? Because I was talking about a conversation too that I had with my pastor, because I felt like he said some things because he don't quite understand. And I understood when I was talking to him that he don't know. So
if you don't know, you don't know, right? You can only know from experience. I literally made the phone call to my friend who just retired as a state trooper for over 20 something years. And I thanked him because I know his character.
Right.
I know who he is. I know that he looks to make sure to do the right thing. And I said, I appreciate your character. It's bad that everyone is painting this broad stroke.
Right.
Right. And he's not the only friend who happens to be white, who is law enforcement. That is a good friend of mine.
Right.
I have friends who are Hispanic and Black and Jamaican who are officers. Right. So we're going to talk about the Black and white thing, which I hate because I grew up in a predominantly white town, right? So I know how to navigate this. So just follow me. And he says to me, June, I appreciate that, but let me just let you know that man should have been held accountable because it was the wrong thing to do as an officer of the law. You uphold the law to the best of your ability. Like, you don't stand by and let that happen. He says, June, this is an important piece because this talks about what we talk about with your pastor. I can't tell you how it feels. I will never be able to experience that because of who I am. But I do realize when you just make it right or wrong, it's wrong.
Right.
Period. I'm not going to sit here and pretend that I understand.
Right.
And I can appreciate that in that moment because you have some people that say, well, you know what? The classic, well, I got Black friends, so I'm not racist. Well, I'm not racist. And you're building this case, but you never have to say that, right? It's like saying, I don't mean to be disrespectful. Well, if you're saying that to start off with, it's kind of leaning towards the disrespectful comment, but you're trying to sugarcoat it, right? Instead of saying, you know what, Trey? I don't know how it feels to be a woman who's been raped. Right. So I really can't weigh in on much about Epstein or Cosby or we could break it down, right? Because there's accountability on both ends.
Right.
So when I talk about accountability on both ends, Trey, I talk to my son, obviously, who is a Black boy who's going to be a Black man. I was going to add that,
yeah.
If you go into a store and you steal a candy bar just for fun or just because you wanted to be mischievous.
Right.
Son, if you're driving and you blow through the stop sign or go through the red light, you see where the accountability lies? So we have to be held accountable. So when you get pulled over, I just got pulled over the other day, right? Because I went through an intersection while there was a pedestrian, right? Now the pedestrian is balking, I'm balking, but I get the go ahead. No, you go ahead. And so I went ahead.
Right.
The cop pulls me over. My wife is in the car. June, be careful. Make sure that don't reach for the glove box. So we're having this conversation. Once again, it's this collaboration because we understand each other, right?
Right.
Okay, cool. Let me get the phone ready to go just in case. The cop pulls over and says, Do you know why I pulled you over? No, I do not. How are you, sir? Officer such and such. Because I looked at his badge because I'm looking at it because there's just cues.
Right,
So
right, right.
we have to teach our young men the cues. Good evening, good afternoon, sorry, sir, officer or state trooper Kearney.
Right.
No, I do not know why you pulled me over. Now, all right, we're at a level where I can have this conversation. Well, you ran through the intersection and it's pedestrian friendly. Like you should. I said, you know what? I'm not gonna argue. I did do that, but what you didn't see is that we kind of hesitated, and I felt like she gave me the right of way, so I went.
Right.
I would never disrespect the law. I have friends and family in law enforcement, so I truly apologize if it looked that way from your perspective.
Right.
Now it's come down because I've given him a level of respect and understand. I have a respect for law enforcement.
Right.
I didn't say, why did you pull me over? Oh, you just pulled me over because I'm black. When you go that direction, now they are on the defensive.
Right, right.
You'll never win that fight.
Right.
So you try to make sure, like, all right, let me bring it down. And his next reply was, you have family in law enforcement? Do you have proof of that?
Right.
Most certainly. I certainly do. Do you have it in the car? I said, actually, I'm driving my wife's car. It is in my car.
Right.
But he's like, is anybody that you could contact? I said, most certainly. And I grabbed the phone and said, if you don't mind, I'm going to call my family, who's a state trooper.
Right.
He said, please do. And I called the same man that I just told you about.
Right.
A white man at that. And called him. He picks up and said, hey, brother, what's the problem? I have Officer Kearney here, and we're having a situation here where I went through this intersection, and I explained to him what happened. I didn't sugarcoat it. Like, yo, this guy's trying to pull me over. Because no, explaining it so that he can hear, so he knows that the stories coincide.
Right.
He would like to speak to you. No problem. Put him on the phone. Gets on the phone, explains to him. Okay, boom. I apologize on his end. I apologize. I get it. Please just really be careful. Why, Trey? Because vehicles have been hitting pedestrians, so they're just cracking down.
Right.
He was just doing his job. That's
right.
the accountable. He has to hold me accountable. I got to be accountable because I did do it.
Right.
But you didn't see my angle, so let me just explain it. If he had given me the ticket, I could take it.
What about the situation where we are complacent and it goes left though? Because we watched.
It happens all the time.
Right.
It happens all the time. It happens all the time. But
our son then.
I can live with that if you've done the right thing, especially if I see it, because I know I taught you better. Right. So now I'm gonna, because we tell our kids this: if you are right or you are wrong, let me know. I'll defend you either way.
Right.
So we have to live with that. If he did the right thing or my daughter did the right thing, I can live with knowing, because now I'm gonna go even harder because you were right.
Right.
I'd rather you die or go to jail for doing the right thing. Because now the situation is we're starting to see these TV shows, we're starting to see these things on Netflix. If you have proof that you've done the right thing, it may be 5 years, 10 years, maybe 20 years for some of these black men. They've been exonerated. And you can't get that time back, but you knew in the heart, Corey Wise, I did the right thing.
Right.
I'm a rock this dude to the death.
Right.
I can rock with you, right? I can't promise you that it's gonna turn out to be the proper situation.
Right.
Right? Because we've had them in the car, hands up,
right.
And you still shoot me.
Right.
But now the accountability lies on who? The officers. So now we have to teach them. And I don't know the numbers, but I feel like the state troopers have less incidents than the officers in our communities. So we have to educate them on the same way we educate these troopers and the mental health piece of it, the mental test piece of it. Because if the state troopers don't have that kind of situation, then why are officers in the communities having that situation?
Do you think that these officers who have no experience with Black people, these officers that have never lived in the hood, should they be in our hoods, or should you have to be from the community? Because I think that there is a miss. Like in Newark, they had a peaceful protest because the residents of Newark respect the police officer and the mayor.
Correct.
Right? So
Correct.
when you have the police officers in your state, city, county who are interacting with the neighborhoods, there's a different element than a white man coming in my neighborhood who's racist, or not even, maybe you're not racist. Maybe you scared of black people.
He just doesn't understand the culture and the way things move, right?
Should they be there?
All right, so policing your own. I agree to a certain extent, but just like a job application, right? And
right.
It's just what it is now. Like, Trey, have you ever lived here? Have you had to, like, you've got to have these conversations and say, all right, so when you went to high school, like, what was the percentage of Blacks and whites and Hispanics and Mexicans, right? So you can understand, like, I've been able to navigate that. So I'd be perfect for this neighborhood or this community, right? But when you have an officer of color, Black or Hispanic, or who is from that area, and may know the players of the game, right? So I know you, Trey, right? And I'm the police officer, and I come in and I see you drinking on the corner, right? Trey, you know you're not supposed to do that.
Right.
You got to put that in the bag, get in the house, like, but you can't do that here. If I come back, now I'm going to have to talk to you, give you a citation, or arrest you. But you can't be out here.
Right.
Right? Because there's a level of understanding that I get how my people do. So let me give you the warning, because one, there's ignorance, there is lack of understanding of how to do certain things, and some people in our community don't even know what the word solicit means, or unsolicit, like they don't.
Right.
You can't hang out here. Oh, okay. I just can't hang out. Yeah, no soliciting.
Right.
All right, cool. Like I thought you were cursing at me. No soliciting means you can't hang out here.
Right.
So you could do whatever you want to do. You could go to the park right down. Matter of fact, here's a basketball. Y'all go down the park and y'all play, right? So there's an understanding. But if there's no understanding, then you're going to go and lean towards, all right, you guys are listening. Let's go get up against the wall. Wow, like, give us an opportunity to explain to us why we can't.
Right.
We may not know.
Right. So is there a problem with the police training?
Most certainly.
Like I said, and I have fear because I have 3 Black sons. I have a 25-year-old, a 20-year-old, and an 11-year-old who's nonverbal and autism spectrum, who's going to be a 20-year-old one day. So I fear, as a Black woman, as a Black mother, as a Black daughter, as a Black friend, as your friend, that if you're walking down the street and a wrong police officer, and we know that all police officers ain't bad, because there are people who I went to school with in the hood who were white, so they understand the culture, because they've been in, they seen this, they lived in the same project or the same area. So my fear is that the wrong officer is gonna come and get you, because he don't know. Like you said, you soliciting, get against the wall, boo that, pepper spray you. We have to have some type of boundaries in our communities, because this man, there's no way in the world that this man should be dead because of a phony $20 bill. He didn't rob a bank.
Nope.
And this man knew this man from working together. So, and another thing, maybe you want to talk about this too. They want to say we're rioting and burning down our own stuff. A lot of stuff in the hood we don't own. So people come in and they own their businesses.
That's the true statement.
We're not burning down our own stuff. We burning down because we rent from you. We renting from the white people or the Indians or whoever, or the store in the corner that we burned down, or the Target. We don't own none of that stuff. So we're gonna be real clear with that for people saying we burn our own stuff down. No, we don't burn our own stuff down. Martin Luther King said, rioting is the voice of the unheard.
Correct.
I used to always say this too about little stuff, like when I'm in school, I'm like, Ma, I don't get this or whatever. She said, you got to ask your teacher. The squeaky wheel gets the oil. You get the extra help if you go talk to the teacher and say, I'm not understanding, or you get the help, whatever it might be, even if you're looking for a job. The squeaky wheel gets the oil. Send your resume again. Put yourself on top. So we're squeaking right now. And I'm not condoning rioting, because I'm not condoning protesting. And I want other people to hear this too. We are out here, we're Black, we out here protesting. They out there rioting. Y'all want to put us all in one basket.
We're separate. We're separate. And
Right.
the thing is, it's not just Black and brown people that are rioting and
Right.
protesting. Everyone, I think everyone is tired of it. There are people that aren't people of color. They're tired of the narrative. They are tired of what's going on in our communities and the government. So for me, I think the approach should be instead of vandalizing these things, right? We should make situations uncomfortable. In my home state, in Connecticut, they shut down I-95 and 91. They were in the middle of the highway. That's an uncomfortable situation without having to destroy anything.
Right.
So don't destroy the local Starbucks. Stand in front of the door.
Right.
Make a human chain that you won't let anybody in. Make it uncomfortable.
Right.
Right.
Okay.
But let's not burn these things down, because guess what? For those people who pay taxes, we will all have to contribute. So even if you don't have, like, everyone's going to feel it. It's going to hit your pocket. But I'd rather you make the situation uncomfortable than to destroy everything. Yeah, we don't own these things. We're merely renting. These buildings are owned by other people. But the way we eat, the way we survive and get our clothing is going to these places of business, right? So even if Trey, I know you rent the store and you don't own the building. If I'm burning down your stuff and you are a Black business, you are a Black minority-owned business, I am hurting you and I'm hurting my community, because we come to you for oils, for Pampers, for hair products, for all these things that we need. So if I do that, now there's a disconnect for my community.
Right. So Ahmad was jogging and he was killed by 2 white men for no reason, for jogging in his neighborhood. Right.
Because you look like you don't belong.
Right. Because you look like you don't belong. So we didn't riot. We didn't really do nothing. I mean, we hashtagged Ahmad's name, and we hashtagged Sandra Bland's name, and we hashtagged Trayvon Martin's name. And I could go on and on and on about hashtagging people's names, right? And it went under the rug. So if there was no protesting / rioting and burning down of a police building, would this case have gotten the same attention? See, they want to talk about the rioting, but they don't want to talk about the reason why the rioting started. So if we had not, and I'm gonna say we because I'm the people, and I'm not talking about, like you said, burning down the local barber shop because the white man owned it and you just renting the space from him. If we had not got out there in them streets and did this, would people really, my pastor be talking about this? Would it have gotten his attention?
No.
Would it have gotten the attention of the world? Or will we still be talking about something else? If we said, okay, they killed George Floyd, we want the officer arrested. I'm just being so real right now. If all of this fires and all of this wood is not going on, because we wasn't, Ahmad, okay. All right, Ahmad, you're dead. 2 people are arrested, and we're going to go on with our lives until we get another Ahmad or another Trayvon. But right now, we have the attention of the world because of the level of outrage that we have right now. And it always gets to a point where we have to come to this level of outrage, even in the 60s with the riots, where we have to come to this point of so frustrated that we got to burn our own shit down. Excuse my language. And you want to talk about, oh, they burning their stuff down. Look at them, they animals. We not animals. But you're not hearing us until we act the way that you expect us to act.
Right, and now it becomes an issue.
Right.
But there's a societal contract, right? I heard Trevor Noah talk about it. If you expect things from us or expect a certain behavior from us, you should also hold yourself accountable to the same things that you want to hold everyone else accountable. Because if you say, all right, Trey, we dating, can't cheat on me, right?
Right.
I expect that of you. This is how it goes. But then I turn around and do the opposite myself.
Right.
What am I saying? No, you can't expect that from me. You're not doing the same thing. You got to respect me too, because
Right.
you're asking me. But we have this bound contract or this handshake or this the signed contract that says, all right, when you're out in public, Trey, you got to act a certain way. You don't. It's not what you do. But I'm doing the opposite. We can no longer do that. People are now tired. So when you have that situation and we don't riot, I think it was a step back. People were hurt by it, but people were so conditioned because it's been happening. But now when you see this situation, we've expected it. We continue. All right, keep in mind, in 2013, when Trayvon Martin was hurt,
Was
the
killed.
only thing I could do,
Right.
I said to myself, now we've got to organize it. I created an event called the 100 Men of Color Black Tie Gala and Awards because I wanted other young men of color to see men dressed up in tuxedos and suits with pants around their waist, with belts around their waist, with shoes on that look sharp, being honored for whatever they're doing in their line of work, so that they have examples of what men of color look like. So and it's no disrespect to Jay-Z or Beyonce or
Right.
any of these people, but you have Jay-Z in your community. You got 50 you got Diddy in your community. You don't have to go far. You don't have to watch them on Love and Hip Hop. They're right in your community doing things in government, education, entrepreneurship, right? They are in your community. So I want to show you that because you're looking at Trayvon Martin and you're saying, I don't have any role models. I don't have any examples. You do. So let's highlight them. That was 2013. Trey and Mike Brown happened the second. Like, I was trying to give a platform and talk about and bring people to the platform to talk about how we should love our men of color.
Right.
And guess what? This makes 7 years. The 7th anniversary is coming up in October, and we're still having this conversation.
The sound went out a little bit.
We're still having this conversation.
Yeah, we are. But that's the whole thing. That's what I'm saying. I don't condone violence or burning anything down. But people need to understand my frustration as a mother, my frustration as a sister, my frustration as an auntie, the frustration of the people. We are not getting the recognition of something that is so heinous unless we act the way they want. And this is another thing. They're saying, I heard a couple of people talking about, the rioters and this and that and that and this. And the reason why Black people are being treated this way is because look at their behavior. I've seen men in suits. I've seen athletes in suits and businessmen and other law enforcement outside of their uniform, not with their pants hanging down, driving their nice car, be harassed by a police officer because they're Black. So whether you're in a $5,000 Armani suit or orange jumpsuit from jail, you just a nigga in a suit. And I'm just, it's no, and we gotta.
You can't sugarcoat it. But here's the thing, Trey. Here's the thing. Every woman of color, you have a responsibility to us right now. If you never thought you had it before, you don't have to have a child, right? You don't have to have a nephew.
Right.
But if you have a parent that is Black or of color, you should feel, because if your dad is a man of color, right then and there, even if you don't have a child, you still have responsibility because your dad is probably one of those men. He is a Sean Bell. He is a Mike Brown. He is a George Floyd.
Right.
They are, you have to start to love us because guess what? No one else is loving us. And we are in a corner where you are giving us pressure, sometimes more pressure than we put on ourselves. Because sometimes I swear that women are like, oh, you just not ambitious. You're not doing, no, he is, but he's going up against something that doesn't want to see him win. That doesn't want to see him be great. So why do you compound the situation by telling them that he ain't ish, that he's a mother effer, that he is lazy? He may not be lazy. He just may be tired because he's been trying for so long, Trey. Right. But here you coming with your stuff because you're looking at what society's saying and they're giving you the ammunition. oh, you're black and brown men, they're lazy. You're black and brown men, they don't want to achieve anything. They're not educated. They don't want to go to school. Guess what? You're not giving us the opportunities. So stop listening to what they're saying and bringing it home and putting it on your men's shoulders. It is frustrating. It is tiring. Stop it. Don't let someone else dictate what is supposed to happen in your community and in your household. You dictate that. And I say this to men and women who have kids, and they allow the court to decide. You are the ones who created this child. You don't have to go to court to let them tell you what to do with your child when it has to come with providing an opportunity, providing food and clothing. You come together to say, you know what? We're not going to be together. It's not going to work out, but we're going to raise this child the best way we can. We have to do the same thing with our relationship. Don't allow anyone to tell you how to treat your wife or your husband, and you guys are people of color. It actually don't matter what color you are. We're just specifically talking about black and brown men.
Right.
But we have been from the beginning of time, whether they were slaves that come over here, breaking up the family, telling you that you're not nothing. They beating you. They don't want you to read. They don't want you to learn how to write. They don't want to give you no job. If they do give you a job, you're doing it for free. And if you ain't doing it for free, you're doing it for little to nothing. And we're going to take your women, we're going to rape them, and we're going to make babies. And guess what? We're going to try to water down your race. But they haven't been able to do that.
Right.
So we're talking about compounded situations that men are tired. So have these conversations. Actually, ask your man, if you're in a relationship today, if you're in a relationship, you got a man of color in your life, just ask him, you know what, baby, how are you feeling about this George Floyd? How are you feeling about all of it?
Right.
Are you affected? Have you been pulled over and arrested or held for no reason, harassed for any? If you haven't asked them, if you've been with your spouse 5, 10, 15 years and you never asked them and never had that conversation, I guarantee you'd be surprised of the answer that you. Trey, guess what? When I was in high school, walking from and there might be people here from high school that know me from middle school, they probably watching. I walked from my house to the high school, and a little 5-year-old kid, a white kid, stuck his 2 fingers out at me and said, "Kill the nigger, kill the nigger."
Wow.
And I had to laugh because of my culture, my parents never taught me that word. They come from Jamaica. They didn't understand Jim Crow. They didn't understand racism. We have black and brown and white people we have Asian people, Indian people in my family. We don't know race.
Right.
I laugh because I'm like, this little kid didn't just think, he did not know. Maybe I misheard what he did. No, I didn't. It's a 5-year-old kid, a white kid, right? I'm in the music business, and we're going from the gym to the hotel because we're going to get ready to shoot our video, and we get pulled over by the cops. And he's like, "What are you guys doing here?" We're going to the gym. We all 5 of you? Yeah, like we're in a group. We got, we get ready to shoot our video. Oh, you guys sing? So get out the car. Let me hear you sing something.
What?
Trey, I've experienced it. It doesn't define me. But start to ask any black or brown man, have you experienced this? They may not talk about it, but there's some of us that are hurting. And it doesn't hurt me. It angers me, right? I've known how to navigate it, but ask a man of color. I don't care if they're in your family, one of your best friends, if it's your husband, ask them, have you experienced this? And what happened? What did you think? Because I guarantee you what they thought back then, if it happened years ago, and you ask them now, Trey, if I was in that situation, I'd probably be dead.
Wow. Whoa.
Let's just be honest. But we don't have those conversations. Why? Because y'all women, not saying you, Trey, putting out, I'm generalizing and I shouldn't, but y'all not asking us those questions. You're not having, and guess what? Accountability on both ends.
Right.
We, as men of color, because of pride and ego, we're not having those conversations. We're not sharing it either. Why? Because we're too macho. Like, man, I can't tell my wife I got hemmed up. They had me on the ground. I look like a punk. I look like a
right.
No, it affects you because now, if you're in a relationship where you're abusive, you're taking it out on your spouse, and she has no idea why, because this is pent up.
Right.
She doesn't know why you keep drinking and why you keep smoking. And you're smoking weed with your boys, you're hanging out, because you're just trying to have a release. You need advice because this has happened to you, and now you got PTSD because you're watching it every day.
Oh, whoa. This is the conversations that we need to have. If you just tuned in, you're tuned into #Coffee with T, and I'm T, and I'm here with June Archer for my series Men Hurt Too, where we have a man on Mondays who shares his truth. And he just shared some real truth that this just blew my mind. Back then, that a white officer would say, "You a singing group, get out the car and sing." And you would have to get out the car and sing in order, instead of saying, "I don't feel like singing." You know what I'm saying?
But it took somebody to hold him accountable. Luckily, one of the guys who was in our band pulled up because he left the gym after us. And he sees us pulled over. He gets out the car and says to the officer, like, "Why'd you pull him over?"
Right.
Like, if you got no reason to hold him, you got to let him go. And at that point, we're thinking everything like, all right, there's nothing wrong with the car because it's a rental car. And we're very responsible.
Right.
He's gonna break the taillight. That's what's he's gonna break the taillight. So he's
Wow.
gonna find if our guy did not come on, he said, "Listen, they're not singing for you. They're not singing. I remember like it's yesterday. Now I'm talking about they're not singing for you. So if you're not gonna arrest them, then you gotta let them go." Here's another one. We leave the Apollo Theater one night, Trey. We're special guests, and there's 3 of us in the car. We get pulled over on the West Side Highway right before we about to get on the highway, right down at the bottom.
Right. I know exactly what you're talking about.
The cop pulls us over. This has got to be 1990, 91. And they said, "You guys can't have more than 3 people in the car."
What?
Anybody who knows that era, if you had more 3 people in the car, you know what I'm talking about.
Right.
And we looked at each other, and we're going from New York, we're going back to Connecticut. Mind you, we live in Connecticut at the time, Trey.
Right.
We're like, "What do you mean?" I'm driving, my boy's in the car, and my other boy's in the back. It's 3 of us. "Yeah, y'all can't drive 3 in the car. License, registration." "Oh, wait. All right." So you make up the rules how you see fit. And so you that kid that make up the rules as you go along because you want to win.
Right. Right. See, these are the stories, like you said. This has been going on for 2,000 years. I got stopped and they handcuffed me and put me in the back of a police car a couple years ago. It scared me so much I didn't want to drive for like 2 months. Like I literally did not want to drive for 2 months. And I'm thinking to myself, I can't imagine being a Black man. And it was so many police cars that drove up on the highway where I was. It was just me by myself. And I put a sticker on my car that says, "My son has autism, so he may not respond. He may not get out the car. He doesn't talk." I put that, and it's sad when I thought about this. I put that sticker on the car for the police. Because when they started to traumatize me, that my little Black son, 11 years old, they would think that he was being non-compliant. And he don't talk. He don't understand. So I didn't put that sticker on the car in case my baby get lost, or in case I'm in a car accident. And all of those reasons I'm thinking about it now, because I thought to myself the other day, why did you put that sticker on the car? I put that sticker on the car so the police won't hurt my son.
All right, so I just gave you, I believe, 3 examples, right? And I gave you 4 examples, right?
Right.
3. All right, so I'm gonna give you this last one. Because, and like I said, I think my wife knew of maybe 2 of these situations, right? But like I said, we have something special. So we have this dialogue.
Right.
And I want you guys to go home and I want you to have these conversations.
Please, everybody.
Right? So I leave one night. For those who are watching, listening, who happen to be from Connecticut, I'm leaving West Hartford and I'm going back to my apartment downtown Hartford. I get pulled over. There are at least 6 cop cars and at least 5 men with guns drawn, pointing at my car.
Wow.
And they said to me, "Your car fits the description of something that just happened." And I said, "Where?" And they said someplace else. And I'm like, "I'm coming from West Hartford. There's no way that this car," and it was a Prelude. It was a Honda Prelude at the time. Red Honda Prelude. Guns drawn. And they're tapping the window with the gun, Trey.
Oh, no.
I can tell you now, I don't know if I was scared. I think I was more in shock.
Right.
But I did maintain my composure. So I probably because I was in shock.
Right.
Only to find out that they said, "Oh, we have the wrong vehicle."
Oh.
Now, let's fast forward. If that happened and I got shot, the narrative would have been that car was identified as something that happened somewhere else. There was no apology.
Right.
To this, I guarantee you, no one knows. They probably don't even remember. I'd have to go in and say, "Hey, do you have record of this particular stop on I-84?"
Right.
During this time. So there's so many things. Like I gave you 4. I could have been killed in at least one of those.
Right.
At least one of those I could have been killed.
Right.
And only one of them had a gun drawn. Like, right? Like literally drawn and at my window. Trey, we have to have the conversations because guess what?
We have to.
It don't matter that my parents are Jamaican. I'm still a Black American.
Right.
So my passport, that's what I'm identified as.
Right.
I am a threat. And I'm a guy who I pride myself on bringing all people of color, Black, white, Hispanic, polka dot together because I believe in community.
Right.
But that doesn't matter if I'm in the wrong place or at the right place at the wrong time.
Right. And you know what my son said to me? The last time, who was it? I can't remember who it was that got killed.
There's too many of them, Trey.
I can't, but he said to me, he sent me a text. I saved the text message because I said, "Are you okay?" And I started texting him obsessively. Like when I can't remember who it was, but I was like, "Are you okay?" He's like, "Mom, you gotta stop texting me. I'm okay." Like, cause I was like now, I'm like, "You okay? Where you at? Did you put your seatbelt on?" Don't. He's like, "Mommy, listen." He said to me, "I'm ready to die."
Wow.
This is what my son said to me. My Black son said, "Mommy, it's okay. I understand. I'm going to comply. I'm going to do what I need to do if an officer pulls me over. But you can't be like this. You can't be calling me and worry. Or if whatever happens, I'm ready to die."
Whatever's going to happen is going to happen.
Yo, that took me to a level of frustration and fear. For my son to say, "I'm ready to die," because he's Black, something has to be done. Like he really texted me that. And I just was like, I said, "What do you mean? No, you're not." He was like, "No, the reality of the situation is, it is what it is."
And we're being conditioned, right? So when those 2 men shot my man in the middle of the street, when you shoot them in the car, when you put them in the back of the truck and we've been so conditioned that, you know what, it's like a kid and their parent, right? At one point you're going to say, "She ain't going to beat me no more.
Right.
I ain't going to really get in no trouble.
Right.
They ain't going to do nothing." I'm conditioned. Or it's the opposite. Like if I really do this,
she gonna beat me.
She gonna beat me. It don't matter what I do. Like she could hear a book drop in the middle of the night. She gonna beat me because she think I'm doing something. I got no business. I just happened to just drop the book. Just for whatever reason, I didn't put it in properly, and it fell off the bookshelf.
Right.
But out of fear, I hear it drop, and I'm like, I'm gonna get a beating.
Right.
That's just where we are, Trey.
Wow.
Right. So you said it earlier. So what if you do comply? We've seen that already. And we're still getting the beating. We're still getting the deaths.
Right.
So our young people, our age group, our demographic, we are angered, but the young people are like, "Oh, this happens. So it's cool."
We cannot take our foot off the gas this time. Because I was talking about this on another podcast I was doing with my cousin Kirsten. We can't take our foot off the gas because we're a trendy people. Hashtag Trayvon Martin, it's a trend. Hashtag George Floyd, it's a trend. After a couple months, it's over with. Kaepernick on the knee. We're not watching the Super Bowl, and 2 months passed, and it calmed down, so we watched the Super Bowl. We can't take our foot off the gas at this point, because if we do, we're going to have another dead Black man on our hands tomorrow, if we don't have one, because we're not even talking about the things that are not being filmed. So if that police officer was comfortable with his hands on his thighs while people are screaming, and 2 minutes and 30 something seconds after this man is unconscious, to be filmed. If he's comfortable to be filmed, we have a serious problem.
We got a problem.
Because imagine, like I said, what's happening that's not filmed. If they're comfortable doing that.
Well, here's the thing too, Trey. Let's keep it 100 with you. We have to begin to figure out what we place value in.
Right.
So, and we're conditioned that way too, because I've had conversations with friends and I said, you know what? If we really wanted to support Kaepernick, all the men of color in sports don't play this weekend at all.
Right.
That means as an organization, let's keep it 100, you don't have enough players to play this weekend.
Right.
So you can't be on NBC or ABC or CBS playing this game because there's no game to be played.
Right.
And most of your favorite players happen to be people of color in the prominent positions. You don't have a game. You know what they said to me? Well, if that happened, they're not going to give up their money. I said, but let's take the money aside then. So for some of them, that's $20.
Right.
That's $20 for the weekend. That's nothing. Yeah, but what about the guys that only make $300,000 a year? Like, but they're standing up for something. You know what? Because they're conditioned. You know what the next answer was, Trey? Well, it's the NFL, NBA. You know what they'll do? They just get the hungry players that are in college, and they get them to play. So after a while, you don't even want to see the pros. You want to see these young guys.
Wow.
I said, we're so conditioned that you probably are right. But if we tell these young people in college, we want you to do the exact same thing.
Right. Because
do not play.
We have to hit them economically.
There's no sponsorship money. The sponsors are going to say, you know what? Y'all didn't play a game. I need my $1 million commercial money back.
Right.
I need my $10 million that I paid for that commercial. I need that back.
So how do we get to, like I said too before, like T.I. said we should have a blackout day. That blackout don't mean nothing.
The blackout doesn't work if you value the money more than you value your character.
Right. And if the celebrities are still buying the high end, it is not going to work in our communities because we can't make a dent in the hood. If we don't buy for a day, and we're looking at it like this too. We're in a space with coronavirus where the NFL, NBA, and all of that was stopped. They're trying to open back up because it's affecting them economically. They don't care if we die.
They don't care.
They want the money. So we
gotta work. People, we got this TV money that they gave us. They want to see something on TV.
Right.
We don't even need y'all in the audience. We at least got to put it on TV. But guess what? LeBron, all these, sit down. Y'all want to go? Y'all go without us then. We're good.
Right.
Until we figure out the situation, come to the table, we black and brown players. Now, when we talk about black and brown players, we're talking about the guys from overseas, because some of them come from countries that they are men of color.
Right.
So y'all, it's no disrespect. Kev Love is no disrespect. Y'all play. We're going to support y'all from home. Y'all can do what y'all got to do. We're going to sit this one out.
Right. But
it may have to be, it's going to be a 3-on-3 maybe, or 2-on-2, but y'all still going to be able to do that.
But that's what they're dependent on. The lack of unity that we have.
And we have it.
Yes. So like you said, we got to be accountable from both ends.
From both ends, right? Because as much as, let's talk about this, as much as we spend money on Michael Jordan gear, Michael Jordan doesn't own it.
Oh.
He gets a piece of it.
Right. Right. We got to understand.
He don't even get a large piece of it. Let's keep
we got to understand this, people. We have to understand this, that they don't care until it hits them in their pockets, until it affects their communities. And I'm not saying go burn down white neighborhoods.
Not at all. Not at all. That's not the answer.
But I'm not saying burn it down, but if you're going to riot,
make it uncomfortable.
Right. Don't burn down. Like, they're going to stop you after you burn down your neighborhood to make sure you don't go to the next neighborhood. That's all I'm saying. They gonna let you ravish yours a little bit, but when they say, okay, what's next?
Oh, they're going to stop you then.
Right. So we got to be real strategic and smart about what we're doing. But we need, and then I'm sorry, I took you way past our time. We was only supposed to be on for 30 minutes, but it's okay. I'm so sorry. I value your time.
Sis, I'm good. Listen, wherever the spirit moves us, we just got to have these conversations.
Right. We have to understand that if we're not part of the solution, we're part of the problem. And we have power as a whole, as a people, to bring our people who our white friends, who would say they are our friends, to explain to them the severity of the situation. I understand you don't get it, and they're asking questions, and we need to have these questions answered on platforms where they can hear us intellectually talking about why we mad as hell. Where they can hear us and say, oh, I never even thought about that. Because you can't understand something that you have not experienced. You can't understand me as a Black mother not sleeping at night because I have Black sons, brothers, uncles, and friends. Because you sleeping good at night as a white mother. Because you're not worried that your son, you text your son and he don't text you back for 15 minutes and you freak out and then he texts you back like, Mommy, I'm 15 minutes late because of blah, blah, blah. You can't understand if you haven't had that experience, or if it doesn't happen to you. And you can't, another thing I just want people to understand before we go, I want white people to understand, you can't tell me Black people are killing Black people to equate that to a white racist officer killing a Black man in the street. I'm gonna need y'all to stay focused. And the therapist told me one time when I was in therapy with my ex, when your spouse is talking about something and you put something on top of it, it's called dish piling up the dishes. So you never get to that dirty dish at the bottom. We're gonna stick to the fact that George Floyd, and we're gonna use him as the example, was murdered in the street by 4 cops. I don't want to hear you ever say to me again, Black people kill Black people in the hood. I don't want to hear that. We working on that. You don't know we working on it because you're not in the hood and you're not sending people in the hood to support us or for programming and programs to help us. So you don't even understand that narrative of a Black boy joining the gang to feel protected in his own hood because his father's not in his house because he's been systematically put in prison for selling a bag of weed. So you can't tell me. So why are y'all outraged when Black people kill Black people? I don't know. We're gonna stay right here. This police officer killed a Black man in broad daylight in the street while other people were screaming, while there was a white woman who said, I am a first responder. You need to take his pulse. Take his pulse, please. He's non-responsive now. That's where we're gonna stay. We're not gonna go left and we're not gonna go right. We're gonna stay right here, June. This is a problem that we talking about. We're not going to the looting and the rioting. Go put the fires out, and we're gonna talk about that later. But we're gonna stay right here with Derek and those other 3 police officers. And we're gonna deal with this. Because this is why we looting and rioting. Because you have gone, Black people kill Black people, and y'all looting and rioting. No. 4
Stay
officers
right here.
killed, 4 officers, focus, man. How we say it in the hood?
Get focused, man.
Right. And we need, as a Black people, as a unit, to encourage everybody. Don't hashtag George's name. Hashtag and share that picture of those police officers, because we need to stay focused on that. Let's make that picture viral for the next 5 months. This is all you gonna see. You know, I'm not sharing no looting and no rioting. I'm not sharing no Black on Black crime. This what we sharing. This our unity. These are the pictures you gonna see. Pictures of Black people being killed by police officers. Cause y'all not gonna, Black people kill Black people me to death. And y'all not gonna kill me. This is how Black people act. They like animals. Y'all not gonna do me to death like that this time. We gonna stay right here with Tamika Mallory.
Exactly.
Y'all taught us how to be violent. Okay, so we're gonna stay right here with this police officer on the ground with his knee on the neck. Stop sharing that picture. No, don't stop sharing that picture.
No, it's real.
That's what they want us to do. So June, thank you.
Thank you, sis.
And
Thank
please
you.
tell everybody, I want everybody to know where they can find you, because you have a wonderful organization, like you said, to show young Black men that there are Black men out here in suits, starting businesses, running corporations. You don't have to be an entrepreneur. You don't have to be the ball player. You could be the accountant. You could be the attorney. You could
Exactly.
be the executive, because they're not doing all this by themselves.
No, they're not. They're not. And I appreciate it. And respectfully, I started the sister piece to that too, which is celebrating women of color, and it's 100 Women of Color Gala and Awards.
Yes.
And shout out to all of my past honorees of both the men and women of color who are doing their things in their communities. You can find me at IamJuneArcher.com and on any social media platform, from Twitter to Instagram to Pinterest, to it all at June Archer, just simply at June Archer. And Trey, keep doing your thing. We appreciate you as a woman of color, as a sister, as a mother, as a mentor, and a fellow entrepreneur. We applaud you wholeheartedly, and we're giving you your roses as you live here today, being a pillar in our community. Don't stop what you're doing. I'm always here for you. So please, I love you. Keep sharing your truth and being as transparent as you could be, because we need it.
I love you too, June. And I thank you today for your time. And I know we're supposed to talk about some other things, but we're going to do another live, because I really want to talk about some stuff, some questions that I have for you. And I'm going to bring you back if you don't mind, because I really like
anything for you. Anytime.
Yeah, I really admire you, because I watch you from afar on This Is 50 and the different platforms that you're on. And I'm like, he's doing it. He's always been consistent. He's always been loyal. He's been a family man. And all of the men who I've had on here, I have to thank them, because they've all had a struggle, but they have all been honorable Black men. And this is why I do this platform, because Black men are dope, because Black men do have jobs, because Black men do lead in their families, because Black men are in marriages for 60 years, because Black men are starting businesses, because Black men do run Fortune 500 companies, because Black men do a lot of good things in our communities, and we want to highlight all the negativity, and we're not doing that no more. There are Black people starting Black companies to broadcast better content for us on TV. And we got to keep this movement going, because we are not going to be silenced. We are not going to continue to degrade our Black men, sisters. We are going to continue to uplift them. And like I said, I'm an advocate for Black men. And whoever don't like it, that's too bad. And whoever say, oh, Black men are dope, that shirt. I see comments and stuff. Oh, all men are dope. Yeah, they are, but you're not going to take away from the fact that Black men are dope. And you're not going to take away from the fact that Black lives matter. All lives matter, but all lives are not being killed in the street like a dog. We have, a lot of people have more regard for a dog being yoked up more people were outraged when that woman was choking her dog than the fact that she called the police and said, a Black man is about to hurt me. They were up and on, take the dog from her, take the dog. No, this lady just called and could have very possibly got this man killed.
Correct.
So we stay focused on the focus. Y'all not taking us left and right no more, because we're going to talk amongst ourselves to make sure the focus stays where it needs to focus. No, Black people kill Black people, so we ain't talking about that right now. They rioting, no, we ain't talking about that. We talking about the fact that y'all ain't going to keep killing our sons, our brothers, our nephews, our grandfathers, because the thing I want y'all to hashtag and tweet today is dead is dead. Your sorry don't mean a damn thing to me.
Mm-mm.
$3.5 million from a civil lawsuit don't mean a damn thing to me when my son is not sitting at the Thanksgiving table, or my father is not sitting at the Thanksgiving table, or my children's grandfather is no longer here. You don't get to kill us, because you can't bring us back. Your sorry and your money is not enough anymore for us, and we will not be silenced. We will continue to follow our great leaders who are out here protesting peacefully and teaching our young people how to protest peacefully. You could focus on whatever you want to focus on in the media, but y'all can never say that Black people are not the greatest people on the planet, that we don't build and we don't grow and we don't teach and we don't love. And we've been taught over and over again, and I've taught my children to love everybody. But I'm teaching my children something a little different now, June. You got to love everybody because it's the word of God, but we don't have to like people that don't like us. We don't have to like people that hate us because the color of our skin. Yes, we do have to love everybody because God is love, but outside of loving, it don't say nothing in the Bible about liking people that don't like you. So we got to teach our children to stand tall and make sure we understand that it's the teacher in the school that's racist. That is the bank teller that's racist. And we got to look and watch social media. Look at them people on your timeline and what they saying, the same people you break bread with. And we got to school them, not condemn them or cut them off.
No, educate
You
them.
may not understand. We got to educate you that this is what's going on. And maybe you don't get it. Because what you just said, you might not think was racist, but it wasn't. We ain't standing for it no more. So we got to go. I love you, June. I will see you guys on Wednesday for #Coffee with Tea, where we'll have a Wonder Woman on. Deja Vu is coming up next. So we're going to have her on, and we're going to have a good talk about this. And it's probably going to be geared around this because we are emotional right now. And we get to be. I want every person, every Black person on here to understand. You get to feel what you feel. My girl Erica Brown said it. You get to feel what you feel. You get to feel what you feel. Pray. Don't go to sleep angry. But you get to wake up the next day, and if you see something that makes you angry, you get to be angry again. You get to pray again, and you get to be forgiven again. So don't ever think that you got to be quiet, because we've been quiet for too long. Even me, I was like, I ain't gonna say that because it's kind of politically not correct. Nope, I'm mad as hell, and we not taking it no more. And like Malcolm X said, was it Malcolm, by any means necessary? And I'm not talking about being violent, but I'm talking about by any means necessary. We got to change this around for our people. So I love y'all, and I'll see y'all Wednesday at 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time for Coffee with Tea, and that's me. And remember what I tell you at the end of all my broadcasts, you deserve the best. Yes, I'm talking to you. You deserve the best. Now go get it. Peace and blessings. And remember Psalm 147:3, he heals the brokenhearted and binds up their wounds. Psalm 147:3, he heals the brokenhearted and binds up their wounds. Peace and blessings. I love you, June. Thank you so much. And I'll